the field in Castro's hands, and he's going immediately. Gets a good jump there over green and is pulling away. He is gapping early, even moving over to try to break up any sort of slipstream or help that inside line, making sure green has his hands full coming into T1.
Be your chance. Did Jason give Antonio just a little bit of a slow up? It doesn't look like it. Antonio down to the inside. Hopefully going to be able to make this move. Oh, that was close.
Soto both coming very hot with a head of steam. Playva going up to try to move out of the way and give up the slipstream.
Here comes Gilliland.
Slow down. Gilliland coming in, going to try to challenge for this podium. They're going to go too wide.
Oh, no!
Oh, Gilliland and Playva come together. Gilliland's going to come back across the line in 4th place.
Quite going to get there. There's a little bit of a lock up there from the 46
goodness.
car. He's gone deep.
Whoa. I don't know how everybody was able to get through that. That could have been absolute tears for that front runner.
I see a Budweiser. Go ahead and hold it up.
Yes. There's
that was
our
the
Budweiser.
biggest clue.
Yes, right
Doing
there.
it for Dale.
Man, it's so many gimmicks, right? I feel like they're making it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, a lot of people, you get polarizing opinions on DRS.
I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here, but sometimes the effort, it's all about the boys. You know, like, hey, you
It
know,
is.
life sucks sometimes, and you need
Yes.
the boys.
iRacing kind of always has a tendency to kind of buff
Yes.
the new cars just a little bit. I'm not going to go on record saying it's because they want people to spend money on their platform and buy all the new
Conspiracy
content.
confirmed.
But
Yes.
but
Hello, everyone, and welcome in again for the second and final time this afternoon. I'm already messing up. Daniel got me all messed up before we even started this. My name is Adam Thompson. I am joined by Randall McGrew in the commentary booth, and we've already mentioned Daniel Zippy Salmon sitting in the production booth. Guys, it's week 12. We're at Oulton Park. It's the Surfs. We're going to have a great time. Randall, we talked about this before we got on air. Not a huge fan of this track, but you seem to be a huge fan of this track.
Oh, I absolutely love Oulton Park. It's another one of them tracks that promotes aggression. If you're going to make moves, you're going to have to be aggressive and put it in there where other people are a little bit hesitant. Fortune favors the bold right now. Nice cool track temperature, only 79 or 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 20 degrees in Celsius, or 26 degrees Celsius. So that's going to make these tires be nice and grippy, but not be overheated easily.
Speaking of grippy, why don't we ride on board here with Darren Kuhn in the number 972 car and watch exactly his track map here if we can, if Daniel can get everything set up correctly. And we still have to go live, my friend. And then we will go ahead and watch Darren and his lap around here. Randall, it's up to you.
And it seems like he's stuck in a slow motion right now. So getting a nice, good look at turn 2. He's going to hit that dip. That dip's really going to help them brake a little bit later for turn 3, Cascades, and then the run down the lakeside straightaway. You see the lake there on the left-hand side. You're going to keep to the right-hand side of the track for the very, very fast island bend. You're going to use as much of the track here as you can. Let it run all the way out. You don't really need to come all the way back to the left for this tight right-hander of Shell Oil's corner. It's basically a hairpin, but it's got a lot of camber on it. You can carry a lot of pace through there. And then comes through the bend of turn 6, going to keep to the right. And then we have the Britain's chicane, the easier of the two chicanes to get right carry as much speed through there as you can, avoid clipping the inside. Then they're going to do the run up and then down a hilltop straightaway. You see him over on the right side of the track. You normally want to sit up on the left side of the track. He's letting another car go. And then the very, very fast Knickerbrook corner, you want to try to clip both of those apex curbings as you go through that corner, and then up the hill through Clay Hill and Water Tower turn, and then the double right apex of Druid's Corner. It's a pretty fast corner. You want to clip both of those apexes and then make the run down the straightaway and under Warwick Bridge and approach Lodge Corner. You want to get a nice late apex here on this right-hander. The track will fall away from you, causing you to skate out. That track starts to feel extra skinny, and then the quick left-hand bend of Deer Leap that will bring you up to the finish line and complete a lap around this track.
Yep, that was a great track lap as normal by you, Randall. So obviously you've got things coming up. Final race here. Give us your overtaking opportunities. Once we get back to live action, we'll be able to see exactly what happens here. There we go. We've got Hayden Bramley sitting in first place with Jorg Monty in second. Jeff Pritchard right now sitting in third. But it looks like Paul Jackson actually on a pretty quick lap here. Right now in 21st, 3 green sectors. Randall, we'll come back to the overtaking opportunities. Let's see what Paul does.
There's an opportunity here to gain a lot of spots on track for Paul with those green sectors. We'll see if he's able to complete the lap with a good time and gain a bunch of spots, and it looks like he was able to. Where am I seeing him now?
Sitting in 19th.
Now he's able to gain 2 spots off there, so a good lap out of him, gains 2 spots, and he still has plenty of time to get around once more possibly and improve again. Maybe not actually. It looks like they have about 40 seconds left in the session, so you need to be about halfway through this lap in order to finish one more time, because they will get cut off right at the 20-minute mark.
We haven't talked about this guy yet. Aleix Pleva, very quick right now. 142.081. It's saying on the bottom of the screen, will that move Aleix Pleva up a little bit? It should. Waiting for his lap time to pop up there on the top right. It doesn't look like it's going to. Aleix Pleva still sitting there in 6th place. And Aleix Pleva, let's talk about that real quick. Well, we've got about 10 seconds. We got to bring up the points and talk about how close these points are in S1. So, first of all, Spec 1 is going to be Jason Green sitting with 803 points with Aleix Pleva with 761. We have to account for the drop weeks here. Aleix Pleva still has a serious chance to win this championship. We will talk about that after the race with Daniel Wood sitting in 3rd place. Now we're going to hop over into the S2 standings. 528 for Andrew Love. Basically has this thing locked up at this point with Russell Telker in 2nd. Very close, though, between him and Joshua Wilkie sitting in 3rd. Now, finally, the best class in the Surfs is going to be the Masters with Antonio Rees and Jorg Monty still fighting it out up there. Randall in the top 2 with Jeff Pritchard sitting in 3rd.
I think any one of these 3 drivers has a good opportunity to win the Masters race today and have a good shot at that championship. So that'll probably be the most interesting one to watch, as it looks like I'm being proven wrong once again. Drivers still on track after the checkered flag is out there, not being cut off, so they are able to complete any flying lap that they're on. We're watching Aleix Pleva try to get a couple more spots here right at the very end. He was very quick last week, was involved in an early race incident that took him out of the running, but looks to be on pace today to challenge for the win.
I have to talk about Hayden Bramley, though, Randall. We try not to talk about I-ratings when it comes to league racing, but I'm going to. Hayden Bramley has 3,800 I-rating right now. Jorg Monty with 6,200. Hayden Bramley, the class of the field, 3,800, nothing to shake a stick at. But when you look at the drivers in this lineup, very impressive by Hayden Bramley.
And when you have a 3,800 I rating, what typically happens is you only race the one car that you show up in. So a 3,800 Spec Racer Ford driver is about as good as a 6K overall driver. So he's going to have a lot of familiarity with this car, and probably why he has so much pace.
Yeah, 100%. But we do have some results coming up here somewhat soon. Antonio Rees and Aleix Pleva still sitting out up on track. But we're going to stall for just a little bit because our producer did tell me to stall for just a little bit. So, Randall, how's your day?
doing pretty good, and a nice smooth transition there, taking the notes from the producer. This track, honestly, I gotta say it again, it's one of those tracks that doesn't have a lot of passing opportunities in the traditional sense, but if you are aggressive and bold and able to carry speed through some of these corners, you're going to find plenty of opportunities. You just really got to know when you have the run and make good on it.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of runs, the grid finally ran up into the production booth. So we've got Hayden Bramley sitting in first place with Jörg Monty. Watch out. He is on the front row again, and we saw what happened about an hours ago time. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Lace Plava in third. Jeff Fritcher sitting in fourth place. Jason Green, very good position, sitting in fifth with Jason Perry sitting in sixth. Flavio Andalo in seventh with Jeff Jacobson starting in eighth. Antonio Reese and Adam Bradshaw round out your top 10. Daniel Wood and Tom Gradwell 11th and 12th.
Brad Cathcart is going to start 13th alongside Kurt Nunez. P15 will see Scott Russell, and then in 16th place, Paulo Breme is going to be your Spec 2 pole all the way down in 16th place. 17th, Christian Tracy starting alongside Russell Telker. Behind them, Joshua Wilkie and Paul Jackson. 21st, Philip Berry. 22nd, Felipe Carvalho. Then 23rd, Darren Kuhn. And 24th, Jason Greider.
Wayne Buttermore is going to round out the field for this weekend's final race. There are 25 drivers about to drive around Oulton Park. It is going to be an absolute riot. Jörg Monty, Hayden Bramley going to be starting in first and second here. What do you want to do in this situation, Randall? Do you want to get track position? Is track position key around here?
Track position is definitely key around here. As I mentioned before, can be difficult to pass. So the more cars you can put behind you, the better. A short pace lap here, so not a lot of time to condition the tires. So watch that turn one. It's going to be a little bit wild. 25 cars on Oulton Park is going to feel like it's 40 or 50. So the traffic on the opening laps going to be the key to somebody's success or failure. You really need to keep the nose clean here at the opening.
I mean, looking here, it does seem like it's going to be an okay place to pass. There will be plenty of slipstreaming opportunities, but there are not very many hard braking corners. So it's going to be interesting. Turn one, definitely going to be one of those. Maybe the final turn if somebody can get close enough, but we are green. Hayden Bramley gets a great start to Lace Plava. Now in second, Jörg Monty has a horrible start. Jörg Monty falling way down the field. Antonio Reese already passed Jörg Monty. What happened to Jörg on that start? Everybody keeps it clean going through turn one.
Looks like a classic missed the upshift there and just fell like a stone down the leaderboard all the way back to 8th place. Now going to have some ground to make up, and most importantly, directly behind his championship rival Antonio Reese as Hayden Bramley leads him down to Island Bend and into Shell Corner.
We have in the YouTube chat Drew saying Wilkie can win S2 if he places 5th or better, so we have to keep an eye on Josh Wilkie. He has serious, anyways, 8th, I don't know, I can't see, it doesn't matter. Wilkie, keep an eye on Wilkie, he has got to get up to 8th place. Right now he's in 17th, he has what? Oh, speaking of Wilkie, he spins!
Tries to stick the nose on the inside for the Britain chicane. There's a little bit of contact that helps him go around. He was a little too heavy there on the brakes. A very optimistic move that does not work out for him as he gets collected by the number 5 of what appears to be Jason Perry. And yeah, just 2 and 1 don't go. Joshua Wilkie has his championship hopes dashed on the first lap.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. And again, we're going to blame Drew for that because we get blamed enough. That is totally Drew's fault. Tamara, you even said it. That is definitely on Drew. 100%. No, Michelle, it was not a commentator's curse. Anyways, back to the action. We've got Antonio Reese right now. Jörg Monty sitting in front of Antonio Reese. But don't look now. Fritcher right behind him. A massive Masters battle going on right now, Randall.
We see some heavy damage to the front of Fritcher and Jörg Monty in front of Antonio Reese. You have to wonder if there was some sort of incident that precipitated that move. Jörg Monty has a bit of a gap ahead of Antonio right now. That damage doesn't appear on its own, so something definitely happened here in the top 8 to cause this shuffle up, and Fritcher now going to be chasing damage that hopefully it doesn't break down his straight line speed too much, and it doesn't seem to have done any damage to the steering too much, as he's able to keep there on Antonio Reese's gearbox, and he's not able to pull away. So we're going to take a look as he gets really close. Yeah, the steering seems to be fine, not really any damage to the suspension or wheel geometry, and we'll have to see if he's able to keep his pace up. We see somebody off in it from the front. Who is that? That's Jason Green.
Jason Green. This is not good for Jason either. He was in the fight for the Spec 1 championship. Jason spins out from 3rd place. What happens to Jason Green? Nobody's even around. He catches a curb.
Too much curb on these cold tires. That's a very rough curb if you catch too much of it too early, and it looks like he manages to keep it just shy of that tire barrier, so not going to have a lot of damage on the car. He just needs to get it back on track and try to salvage as many spots as he can. He does have a lot of time to make some of these spots back up, but he is definitely behind the 8 ball now.
We've got Drew in the chat saying, yeah, that was part of my strategy to protect my 1st place in S2. Well, it worked pretty well for you, Drew. But anyways, oh yeah, Tamara says, is there such thing as a chatter's curse? 100% there is, and we're blaming all of this on you. Jason Green has fallen way back. We've got Gradwell, though. Cathcart, 2 Aussies going at it.
Going at it down under style right now, on board with Cathcart as they come through turn 2. That big dip here is where they're going to get on the brakes, and it doesn't look like he has as good of a run into turn 3. Let's see, and he's going to run a little bit wide on exit there, but going to keep it on track. That gap ahead is getting a little bit bigger every corner.
Yes, it is. We have some contact, though, just in front of these drivers. Reese and Jacobson are fighting as well. Looks like Jacobson has found his way around Reese. Reese is just trying to protect his championship right now. You know, Jürg Monty's not trying to. Jacobson with the move on Reese. Now he's tracking down Jürg Monty. Jürg Monty will not want to give that position up. Randall, look out for Fritcher, though, on Reese.
Too wide through Knickerbottom is going to be extremely hard to pull off. They need to figure this out before they get there, or they're both going to lose a lot of time. There's a little bit of contact there. Fritcher going to be on the outside. Reese going to protect that inside and retain the position. Both of them keeping it on track.
Randall,
so
it doesn't matter right now. I hate to cut you off. Aleix Pleva has just passed Hayden Bramley for the lead as well. It's all popping off. Flavio Andalo is still in this pack. He's trying to pass Jason Perry for 3rd. Jürg Monty trying to get up to these guys. This is exactly what Jürg wants to see. Look at that absolute save from Hayden Bramley, but he does lose it to Aleix Pleva.
He runs a little bit wide there at the exit of Knickerbottom and gets off into the grass. It's very hard to wrangle the car once you hop that exit curb. He does a good job at getting it back on track, but you're right, absolutely surrenders that position to Aleix Pleva, who's up 2 spots from his start. I knew that he was going to have the pace, and now he's showing it.
Flavio has a great paint, as noted by our producer. Flavio, absolutely gorgeous paint you got there, but a paint won't win you races. You got to get past 3 more drivers. You got to get past Bramley, Pleva, and Bramley. Well, Bramley just makes the move again on Pleva.
We're seeing this fight for the lead. Bramley definitely has the pace to lead this. We saw him, he had a 10.5 lead in qualifying over P2 of Jürg Monty. So he's definitely the faster car out there, but Aleix Pleva is going to be fast enough that he's not going to be able to run away with this. Jason Perry lurking there in 3rd as they're getting so close to those tire barriers in the chicane. Randall, that's how you have to run it.
Don't look now, but Jürg Monty has caught these guys, and Jürg needs to pass everybody up here to try to have any chance at the Masters Championship. But Antonio Reese needs to fall back just a little bit as well. And while we're talking about that, Wilkie's still out of this S2 championship. This is an absolute all-out dogfight right now for the Masters. Monty, we're still closing in on Flavio Andalo as these guys are racing up ahead. What is Monty going to do when he gets there?
He's going to have to make the first move that he gets. The first time he gets a run, he's going to have to show the nose. He's doing it already. He's letting Andalo know that, buddy, I'm here and I'm coming. I want that spot, and I want the spots in front of you too.
He needs that spot. He doesn't want it. He needs it, Randall, as they go down the front stretch. They're about to hop into turn 1 here. Let's see if Monty tries to go for a crazy move. No, he just stays back. It is very tough with a, I'm going to say, DRS train for Monty to make any moves down these straightaways.
See Jason Perry popping out of line there. Normally, we were seeing early in the season, Jason Perry would not set a quality time and would start from the back and try to work his way through traffic. I wonder if possibly they have implemented a rule to prevent that, because he set a qualifying time. He's currently up 3 spots from where he started, sitting in 3rd place, showing a lot of pace. Right now, this lead pack coming together. We're about to have a 6-car battle for the lead.
Well, while we're talking about qualifying times, this is the first qualifying lap that Monty has run this entire season because he needed to. He lost 3 positions, though. He actually lost 6. He's back up 3 positions from his terrible start. Monty has got to get something done here. But yes, Jason Perry absolutely trying to get by these drivers. But don't worry, Jorg Monty, I'm sure, is going to bring some crazy things into this. But let's talk about Jeff Jacobson all of a sudden getting very close to Jorg Monty as well.
Yeah, this lead package is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger unless there's a mistake somewhere that really breaks them up. We're seeing, like, where you're calling a DRS train or a slipstream train, nobody really making any moves. So some of these drivers are going to be able to save a lot of fuel here and possibly have a slower or a shorter pit stop, as Jason Perry's going to get a good run out of Druids. He's looking to the inside on the run up to Lodge Corner. Is he going to be able to make a stick? We see Manny back there, and Andalo taking an inside line on play, but hoping to be opportunistic there. Not going to get it done, but Jason Green moves his way around Aleix Pleva into 2nd place, and now Hayden Brambley has a bit of a gap and going to try to run away. Perry going to try to reel him in.
Yep, Perry makes the move, but now he's got to get rolling. He does not want to see Hayden Brambley start to check out. Again, Hayden Brambley is extremely fast. We've got a bunch of stuff going on track right now, but that's okay. We have to look right now, though, at Jason Grider. He is very slow down the front stretch. What is going on with Jason?
The car does not look healthy. It looks like maybe he had spun there in turn 3 or just ran it really wide and got it back on track. And no, he's going to spin it here in Shell Oil Corner, clips that inside apex curbing. You don't really want to clip that too early, and it causes the rear to step around. He gets it going back in the right direction and now is really on an island all of his own.
That is unfortunate, and guys, we do want to try to cover. We are still in a replay, by the way. It looks like we're looking at Joe Wilkie again.
Wilkie coming into he comes in to Lodge Corner, just gets the entry completely wrong, has to lock it down.
Randall, none of that matters right now. We have to go back live. There's just been another move between Jason Perry and Hayden Brambley. We've got to get this back live right now. Please, Daniel. I don't care about Aleix Pleva. We've got to go live. Okay, we're live, and there is an absolute hornet's nest up here right now.
With some contact there. Barry goes around. There's a couple more cars off. Pleva runs wide. It is absolute bedlam at the top of the track, top of the order, and Bramley comes out the winner of this, and is going to have a nice gap in hand.
Aleix Pleva sitting in 2nd right now. Monty had to avoid all of this going on. What happens up at the front? Bramley, it's Perry. Oh my goodness, cars everywhere. Monty has to check. Aleix Pleva comes out, but Antonio Reese gets by Monty for having to check up. Now Antonio Reese sitting in front of Fritcher, who's in front of Monty. It's still a Masters class absolute massacre. And Pleva, what has happened? He's now in the lead, and he's already getting caught by Jacobson. Does Pleva have any damage?
I don't know. We've lost Bramley from the lead, so I don't know what happened. Or maybe Bramley decided to take this opportunity to come into the pits for his fuel stop. So taking advantage of a situation, Bramley dipping into the pit lane to make sure that he doesn't provide any slipstream at all to Pleva, and going to try to do the massive undercut with an early strategy that has the looks of an Antonio Reese pit strategy.
Yeah, that is very, very early, but I cannot talk about early pit stops anymore in this league because it doesn't really matter. We have Reese now in front of Fritcher, in front of Manny, but Manny is about to get past, it looks like. Maybe he's trying to go for the pass, on Fritcher, but it doesn't matter. Manny is still back there in 5th place. He's got to make these moves happen. He's got to make them now. What happens when he gets up to his good buddy, Reese? If he can make the pass here, this is dangerous.
Definitely dangerous. He was trying to keep alongside for this entry to Druids, wasn't able to make it. Stick had to back out of it. Going to try again, possibly here at the end of the lap, or looking to make the move into turn 1 right now, trying to close that gap up with that early turn in. And he's going to run wide here at the exit, so he's going to lose even more time to the cars ahead with that late late move, but now he's really got to knuckle down. We see a couple cars dipping into the pit lane. It looks like Daniel Wood and Brad Cathcart both going in. And I'm looking at my timing screen. I don't see Hayden Bramley as having pit. So possibly he just got something wrong all on his own.
I've got Hayden Bramley as a pit lane time of 19 seconds. So I don't know, but it doesn't say he actually stopped. Maybe there was a drive-through or something that Hayden picked up. That's an interesting choice for Hayden right now, but that does not matter at the moment. We are still looking at Jurg Monty. We've got Jacobson now back on the back of Pleva, and do not discount Jeff Jacobson. This guy won at Zandvoort, and he could win again.
He could absolutely win again. He's in a good spot. Right now, it's only 5 in this lead pack, so looking to be a little bit calmer now. Wait until Jurg Manny starts making moves. Going to really start to see some chaos ensue again. As we look, Antonio Reese is going to give a bit of a bump there to Jacobson to help him down the hilltop straightaway as they make their way through Knickerbottoms. And I said it. I had done a lap guide for this track, and I had done that joke on purpose, and now it just slipped right out of my mouth.
That's okay. We are still back at the lead pack here. Look at this absolute massive hornet's nest from 5th to 1st. There is no gap. You know Antonio Reese is trying to push Jacobson up to Pleva. Antonio Reese is defending right now from Jurg Monty, who is right behind Jeff Fritcher. But Monty can't do anything. Antonio may be thinking about a move. It doesn't look like it's going to work. Fritcher may be able to make a move on Antonio Reese here.
And Reese is showing that nose all the way up to turn 1. It's still gonna compromise his entry a little bit, but gonna put the pressure on Jacobson. He's saying, let's get on with this. Go catch Pleva or get out of my way. I got 2 guys behind me that want this spot really bad. So Reese feeling the pressure just as much as he's applying it to Jacobson.
Yeah, 100%. We have to talk about Paulo Brime very quickly, back in 11th place. He is a very big mover, not the biggest, but he is in the leader of the S2. Our biggest mover, though, is Darren Kuhn sitting in 13th place, right behind him, up 10 positions. So Darren doing a great job right now, able to avoid that massacre on lap 2, but not good enough because he is 3 seconds off of Russell Telker sitting in 12th.
Yeah, we see it back here in the midfield and towards the back. It's a bit more spread out. Up front, still looking pretty frenetic with 5 cars in this lead pack right now. Now we see Jurg showing his nose coming down the hilltop straight. Not going to be able to make a move once again, but going to have a good run through that corner up the hill. Now we'll see if he has to back out again. No, he's alongside, going to have the inside run for Druids. They're going to come really close to touching, but now he's going to get the move done on this double apex. As long as there's not contact, this just closes it off there at the last second. A bit of a gap ahead, but they should be able to close that down within a few corners, especially with the way the leaders are getting kind of backed up by Elish Pleva right now.
Well, the problem is, we'll see exactly what happens, though. Is Jacobson going to try to, or is Fritcher going to try to retake Jurg Monty? And it looks like he's thinking about it. I don't think he wants to sit behind Jurg Monty. You can see Fritcher going left, right, decides to stay behind Monty, but you know that is making Monty check his mirrors, and that's not what Monty needs to be doing right now.
Now, if I'm Manny's seat, I'm reaching up and snapping off those mirrors. I have no interest in what's behind me, only what's ahead of me, and I need to track down Antonio Reese sooner rather than later.
100%. Now Monty about 1 second off of Antonio Reese, just barely in that slipstream range. Elish Pleva about 0.5 of a second above Jeff Jacobson, but there's a move from, oh my goodness, he locks up though. This could be tears for Reese, but he makes the move.
The last of the late breakers, Antonio Reese. We saw that inside wheel locking up a little bit, but he was able to keep the apex and didn't give Jacobson a chance to repass him on the exit. Now he's got to buckle down and close that 1 second gap up to Elish Pleva. That's going to put a car between him and Manny. Manny looking to the inside of Jacobson. They're not going to have the move, but definitely letting Jacobson know that he's next.
It does appear like we may have a Tom Gradwell incident. He's fallen back just a little bit. We'll see if we can get to that, but we don't want to do that right now. Actually, we are going to see exactly what happened to Tom Gradwell. He falls way down the order, now sitting in 8th position. He was up in 6th. He got a bit of an off track through the chicane.
Yeah, Britton's bites him in a little bit, carried a little bit too much speed through that first apex, wasn't able to get the car to rotate to the right, and then we saw him riding the pogo stick across the curbs and getting it back on track.
Let's talk about Monty. He has gotten around Jacobson. He is now trying to track down Reese, but Reese is doing everything he's got to do to win this championship, sitting in second place. Remember, Randall, the points are all overall points. Even though they are battling for class position, it's all overall points. So right now with Reese sitting in second, I don't think Monty can take this.
Yeah, Monty's going to have to get in front of Reese for him to have any chance to close that gap up. So Reese doing what he needs to do right now. And in fact, I think if Manny does get around Reese, if Reese is right behind him, he's still going to have enough points to keep that championship secured. So even if Manny does find his way around, Reese just needs to keep there with him and on his rear bumper.
We've got the first pitter of the race. It's Russell Telker in the pits, but what happened to Antonio Reese? What is going on? Antonio Reese what is happening here?
Reese gets a little bit wide in shell oil corner and then is compromised through the chicane and is going to lose 2 positions and a handful of seconds. There now sits in place behind Jacobson and in front of Fritcher with Manny ahead of all 3 of these cars and a gap. So Manny now looking to close that 2-second gap up to Pleva and try to challenge for this overall win.
Jörg Manny might be a master, but I'm telling you right now, he's got the pace to get to Pleva. We'll have to see what happens. You know Pleva's trying to check out. He sees that gap growing and growing as all these drivers are battling behind him. Pleva doing everything he can to win this race. He doesn't care about what's happening behind him. Now it's 2 seconds. Fritcher and Reese going at it, though, behind him.
All these spots are important to this championship. We see Fritcher has made a move on Antonio Reese, so puts Reese back to 5th place with Jörg in 2nd place. That it spells trouble for the championship for Antonio Reese. Now he needs to start working on getting those spots back and trying to close that gap up to Jörg Manny, who has opened the gap up to 1.5 seconds back to Jacobson.
Joshua Wilkie, though, is past Adam Bradshaw. Joshua Wilkie back up into 11th place. He only needs to get to 8th, Randall. This Spec 2 championship is not over yet.
You got to wonder where he would have been now if he hadn't had that incident in the chicane and then later in the penultimate corner. But now looking at 11th, he's going to really have to be on the button for the rest of this race to close back up to 8th in the likes of Tom Gradwell. Quite a gap to close up. It looks like it's about 15 seconds for him to get up to Gradwell, who's in 8th. But now he's having to defend coming up into the very quick island curve. This could be disastrous for both these drivers. No, they make it through. Bradshaw runs wide. Wilkie going to have the clear shot there at Shell Oil corner. Bradshaw rejoins, and looks like everything worked out okay.
Yeah, everything seemingly okay, but there's a massive battle here between Reese and Jacobson right now, and it looks like even Jacobson's going to try to make this 3 wide. No, he sits back, sits 2 wide. Reese trying to get back around Fritcher. Looks like he might make it happen if that tree wasn't in our way. There we go. It's okay, but that damage on Fritcher does not seem to be affecting him at all. He's trying to go around the outside.
Reese having to defend after getting that move just barely done in Druids. That's twice now that Fritcher's gotten the nose cut off through Druids and just barely gotten cleared while being overtaken. This time he's able to fight back immediately, which is the best time to get that spot back. And he's going to be alongside for turn 1, going to try to possibly do the over-under here. He's got a good run out of the exit. He's going to look to the inside. Now he's going to have the outside on the run to turn 3, but he could probably carry a few more miles an hour of speed through this long left-hand corner. And going to still be alongside. No, it looks like Reese is going to get the move. Then he's going to dip in for a bit of slipstream and try to challenge through the island curve.
Yep, you can now see Fritcher now pushing Reese. Does not want to try to make a pass here. I think he learned his lesson a couple times already. But Fritcher, Reese, Jacobson still on this massive battle right now. Biggest battle we have. Let's go back, though. Someone we haven't talked about yet. Scott Russell, the American, now fighting with Tom Gradwell, sitting back in 8th and 9th place. They still have a battle on their hands. There are a few battles still going on throughout this field, but obviously the biggest one we're trying to watch is the one up front, but we got to talk about these guys a little bit.
And Josh Wilkie wants to see this fight go on, and for these two drivers to slow themselves down. Josh Wilkie has come into the pits, but this fight here could have huge implications for the Spec 2 championship if it allows a Wilkie to get back in contact with these drivers. He had a big gap to make up. He's coming to the pit lane, so keep an eye on this battle. If these two drivers are fighting, any bit that they're slowed down is gonna have a huge impact.
Yeah, it will 100%. And you know for a fact that Wilkie wants these guys to battle, but Fritcher and Reese battling up front right now.
We're gonna see Fritcher trying to get the spot back from Reese. Reese runs a little bit wide there on the exit to Druids. They're going to come down to the penultimate corner with Fritcher on the inside. Going to get that move done. And it looks like Jacobson's going to have a shot here coming into turn 1. And Antonio Reese with a good run through Deer Leap. And right now sitting in there, tucked in behind, maybe not getting a chance. Fritcher defending the inside just a little bit, trying to cut off any opportunities there. And they make it through turn 1.
That is not what Reese needed. Now, is Jurg Money tracking down Pleva? No, he's not. Jurg Money is now 3 seconds behind Pleva. Jurg needs this win with Antonio Reese sitting in 4th. And let's talk about Antonio Reese. He's not doing his pit strategy. I think he's trying to mirror Jurg Money.
I think you're right. He's going to do whatever Jurg does and not let him differentiate himself and thereby gain an advantage with strategy. If he has any gains or losses, Reese would have the exact same gains or losses. So Reese doing a really good job at trying to protect this lead in the championship. Now fighting with Fritcher coming down the hilltop straightaway. It's going to be alongside and have the inside line through Knickerbrook, and should be able to get this done pretty easily. He's cleared before they even get there. So as long as he doesn't run wide, he should have it done, and he's good. And the run up the hill.
Got Patrick Farragher in the YouTube chat saying, this is the first time I've had a chance to watch. I'm loving it. Thank you, Patrick, for tuning in, because this is an absolute mess up here for 3rd, 4th, 5th. Jeff Jacobson still has not let this battle go either. He's just hanging on to the back of these guys.
Fritcher completely unafraid to follow somebody close through some of these high-speed corners, which can be a dodgy proposition. Fritcher with the mettle of a veteran, keeping it right there, keeping that pressure dialed up to 10.
100%. Jurg Money is loving this, though. He's watching these drivers. It is now a 4-second gap between Jurg and Antonio, but that is not enough for him to win this championship. He needs Fritcher and Jacobson to somehow get by Antonio Reese by the end of this race.
That gap could be 200 seconds, and as long as it's only one position, it's going to make no difference at all on the leaderboard.
No, it won't. But back up to the front, we have not talked about Aleix Pleva. He is still checking out 3.5 seconds now. I'm sorry. I know I'm in green, sitting back in 7th and 8th, or 7th and 6th.
This battle, Kurt Nunez in the Masters division, Jason Green, your points leader for the Spec 1 division. We saw Jason with a little bit of an issue there in the early stages in Britain's, and now feeling the pressure from Kurt Nunez. The gap opened up a little bit there through Shell Oil corner, so Kurt Nunez is going to try to close this gap back up. Makes a pretty good line through the chicane there, if a little slow, but going to be able to get that car pointed down track and on that throttle pretty early. We see that car head getting a little bit smaller, though. And it seems like Adam's been abducted and taken home. Jeff Fritcher trying to track down Antonio Reese still. And, now the gap opening up a little bit, so maybe Fritcher has overused his tires a bit and starting to feel the pain of all this fighting, or possibly getting a little bit of excessive tire wear or heat cycles put through those tires because of that damage. We never really saw where this damage originated, so not sure exactly what happened, but he has been carrying this since the end of lap 1. Antonio Reese able to open that gap up a bit. We see in the background Jason Green and Kurt Nunez both dip into the pit lane. Also seeing Tom Gradwell into the pit lane. So keep an eye on that gap from Gradwell to Wilkie to see how that shakes out. Wilkie had a 16.7 second stop time. We'll see how long Gradwell is stuck in the pits right now, and then see where he comes out in relation to Wilkie, because that's the real battle for the Spec 2 championship. We see a couple of cars driving off now and waiting for Gradwell to get rolling. Gradwell on the move now, 17.4, so that's going to be 1 second of gap closed up just by the stop times.
Of course, I had to go as pit stop start. I'm so sorry, Randall. That was a bit of an emergency that we had, but we are back now. And Randall, what happened during the pit stops?
I gotta ask you what happened during the pit stops. Was there another rabbit encroaching on your territory? As we see Darren Kuhn now in the pit lane, right? And Gradwell comes out 13th overall. Wilkie is ahead of him on track, it looks like. Yes. Wilkie is behind him on track, immediately behind him with a 16-second gap, and still 13 minutes to get that gap closed up. So not going to be easily done, but Wilkie could close this gap up to Gradwell. Possibly a couple of mistakes out of Gradwell. We'll see if he shakes out to be an 8th still after the pit cycles work themselves out.
Right now, we've got Drew absolutely loving this, seeing Wilkie sitting back there in 14th place. This is what he needs. It looks like Yorgmani has taken his pit stop, though. Oh, my goodness. Antonio Reese decides to stay out. What is happening with Antonio Reese? He's opening up a new page in this book of Antonio Reese pit stop strategies.
And we see Jeff Fritcher and Jeff Jacobson both jump into the pit lane. Scott Russell also in the pit lane. Yorgmani going to be the first of that lead pack to come in. Other than Hayden Bramley, we're still not 100% sure what happened to Hayden Bramley. Not seeing him. Yeah, we're showing him scored laps down, so it looks like he is out of this race. So something happened to Hayden Bramley after that big kerfuffle with the lead pack after he had established a gap. So Hayden Bramley out of this race.
Randall, I gotta shout you out real quick while we have about 2 minutes left before we have the 10-minute mark. Braden Hamley still out of the race, but back up to the front, Aleix Pleva sitting 8 seconds in front of Antonio Reese. Now, the question is, how are pit stops going to affect Antonio Reese, as he is still out in second place, has not decided to take his pit stop yet, but neither has Aleix. But I don't think Aleix has anything to worry about. It's Antonio Reese that has everything to lose.
Yeah, that gap between he and Antonio Reese is a massive 8 seconds. Pleva probably going to run that thing until it's almost completely out of fuel before he decides to come into the pits. We see Jason Green now on the tail of Daniel Wood, trying to get this move done. Jason Green has already come into the pits. So has Daniel Wood. So this is a good race for position. And right in front of them, Jeff Jacobson, who's also pit. So maybe this lead pack is getting broke up a bit more, or maybe it's getting bigger. We're seeing Jason Green move to the right-hand side of the track on the run up the hill, gets a little bit in the grass, wiggle there, but gets it under control and going to have the inside line for Druids and easily get that pass done. And next up, Jeff Jacobson.
I cannot believe you just brought up wiggle. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard you say, Randall. But yes, Green did get around Wood. Now he's trying to pass or get to Jacobson with Bradshaw now coming into the pits. That is going to clear Jacobson and Green and Reese into the pits now.
Reese into the pits. He's going to lose a lot of time here. I'm not sure where he's going to come out. It's showing him dropping down the order pretty quickly. He's got a long pit stop. You have to wonder, maybe he got a speeding penalty. Maybe the Yorgmani speeding penalty is moved to Antonio Reese. This has huge championship implications. Antonio Reese out at 38.5 seconds, so not a speeding penalty. So probably an unsafe pit entry, which is going to get him a smaller penalty, but still going to be massive.
This is extremely unfortunate for Antonio Reese. He's got Adam Bradshaw now on his tail too, so he can't just drive around. He's going to have to defend like hell for this position from Adam Bradshaw if Adam gets there. Paulo Brime sitting up there, and we have card numbers now. Paulo Brime sitting up there in front of Antonio Reese, about 2 seconds ahead up the road from Antonio. But my goodness, look at this gap up front, Randall. Where has Yorgmani come from, and what does he have in that car?
That pit stop time for Yorgmani was 11.97 seconds. So possibly going to be in danger of being in fuel trouble. The pit stop time for Aleix was a much slower 15 seconds. But behind these two, Jeff Fritcher was stopped for only 9.6 seconds. And the way we saw Jeff fighting, I don't think he had the opportunity to save that much fuel. So Jeff Fritcher also going to be at risk of running out of fuel before this race ends.
This is going to get very interesting. Antonio Reese had a massively long pit stop. Jurgmani needs this P1. If Jurgmani takes this, he has a very good chance of taking the win in the Masters class, but he's got to get around Aleix Pleva first. And as we know, Aleix Pleva is no slouch. We're talking about 5,400 I rating for Aleix, 6,200 for Jurgmani. Those are very, very big numbers.
More importantly than getting the position for Jurgmani is going to be getting it done cleanly. You do not want to wreck the car. Right now, the way it shakes out, he's in a pretty good position to take the championship because of Antonio Reese's pit penalty. So he needs to make sure that he doesn't wreck the car. So he might need to check the aggression down just one notch or two if he's going to make a move on Pleva. But first, if he's going to make a move, he's got to catch him.
100%. And if there are any admins watching this right now for the Weekend Warriors SRFs, we need somebody to come in here after this race to let us know who exactly wins this one. Stevie, if you're watching, please come save us, because this is going to get real interesting at the end. Jason Green, Daniel Wood, Jeff Jacobson still locked in a battle for 4th place.
This also has huge championship implications, as Jason Green is the Spec 1 leader, and he's going to get the move done easily coming down the Hilltop Straight. It looks like Jacobson backed out a little bit to make sure that he can keep the speed up and not lose 2 spots on that move. A very, very cagey move out of Jacobson there to defend against Daniel Wood.
We have 8 minutes left in this race. We have just turned over the 8-minute. Oh, nope, that's zippy math. 7 minutes. Excuse my zippy math there. We are 7 minutes left in the race right now. Jason Green, Jeff Jacobson, Daniel Wood, all of these guys locked into a championship battle as well. Jurgmani is now only 3/10 of a second behind Pleva. Let's see if we go back up, if we could, to see exactly what happens with Jurg here. If he tries to go for the move, it looks like Pleva's actually getting defensive. I wonder if Jurg's got enough fuel. He might be going for this.
If he has enough fuel, he will definitely have less fuel in the car, so less weight, and maybe that'll help him with the momentum to get a move done, or at least line one up. He's definitely within slipstream range, so he just needs to keep the pressure on Pleva, maybe force a mistake, and be there if there is any sort of mistake to go for that move. Again, he needs to do it cleanly. He does not need to wreck this car. That would absolutely ruin his chances.
Apologies for some static there, Jordan, in the chat. That's okay. Welcome to technology. We are back now, though. Jurgmani is now right on the back of Aleix Pleva. He needs this. He wants it. I don't know if he needs it, but you know Jurgmani wants it. But we're going back here to Daniel Wood, though. They are still locked in a battle. Green, Jacobson, and Wood. I don't know. We're going to leave it up to the producer at this point. I have no idea what to do, Randall. There's battles going on all over the track.
And Daniel Wood's still sitting behind Jacobson, looking to make a move here in the closing stages of the race. He might be trying to lull Jacobson to sleep here, thinking, I'm just fine being right here, don't worry about me. And then at the last moment, going to strike. But right now, right all over the bumper there of Jacobson. As we take a look back from Jacobson's car, that 28 lurking very big in the mirrors.
Let's talk about Philip Berry as well, trying to track down Brad Cathcart. We have not brought up Philip today, and I apologize if you're about to get commentator's curse, but he is right on the back of Brad Cathcart. Philip Berry with the most beautiful paint job. We still haven't quite figured out who exactly that is on his car and on his profile picture, but yeah, whatever it is, he's got it posted all around his car, now trying to track down Brad Cathcart for 15th.
Brad Cathcart letting the Southern Cross lead the way here as they come through. Drew is defending it. Oh, a little bit of a check up there. It looked like there was possibly a bit of contact, and I'm hearing in my ear that something happened with Bradshaw. As we see Jeff Fritcher is coming out of the pit lane, so possibly had to come in for another stop. Bradshaw leading the 555 car is they're fighting. He's defending hard, and a bit of contact. He's like, give me room. It gets those elbows out. It doesn't work out. And then Bradshaw just carries a little bit too much speed through there in that penultimate corner, spins it around, gets it going back in the right direction, going to ultimately surrender that spot to the 555 and carry on his way.
Paolo Brime was not about to allow Bradshaw to cut him off there. Paolo wanted that position, but it doesn't matter right now. Jeff Jacobson sitting right on the back of, no, this is Daniel Wood sitting right on the back of Jeff Jacobson. Right in front of him, though, are Jason Green, and Jason Green is loving this. He wants to see them battle. Jason Green needs this third position with this battle right now.
It really does seem like that the pressure from Daniel Wood has lit a fire under Jeff Jacobson. And we're hearing Manny out of fuel. He's slowing way down. That gap was 0.3, and now it's nearly 3 seconds, or possibly not out of fuel as he drives past the pit entry. Just got it wrong, possibly in that penultimate corner, as we've seen so many drivers do. He's coming through turn 1 now. Do not hear any stutters out of the engine, so not a fuel issue, possibly just a slide.
This gap falling way back, though. We're watching that gap travel up to 3 seconds now. 3.1, 3.2. Jurg is doing everything he can to save as much fuel. He knows he's got this in the bag with Antonio Reese, but now it's 3.1. But we're looking at the Jason Green battle again with Jeff Jacobson and Daniel Wood. This has not gone away.
This is not going to go away either unless there's an accident. They're coming up to the closing stage of the race. They're only going to have a couple laps to go, trying to invoke the commentator's curse here to give us a little bit more excitement because we haven't had enough apparently. So Jason Green leading the way here, not really feeling too much pressure from Jacobson right now, but by the time they get down the straightaway, that gap's going to probably vanish quite a bit.
We need to talk about Jeff Fritcher as well. Tam just asked in the chat, Fritcher is sitting out in the pits right now. Yes, he is. We don't know what happened to Jeff Fritcher. He may have underfueled the car, went in and said, yep, this is not my race anymore. He is done for the season, but that's okay because we still have a massive battle going on up here. Let's look at the gap up now between Pleva and Monty. I don't know what's going on with Monty. Monty is saving as much fuel as he can. You may have gotten this right, Randall.
We know that Fritcher was the fastest pit stop time overall, under 10 seconds, 2 seconds faster than anybody else. So definitely saw him dipping into the pits, going to be for fuel. Wood has gotten around Jacobson, but now Jacobson has a run. Looks like he's just going to kind of back out, follow Wood in his tracks, and not really try to make a move quite yet. Wood going to take his shot now at Jason Green.
He's going to, and this is a spot to take it right now if he can get enough of a slipstream. Wood or Jacobson goes to the left, now to the right, trying to get past Wood. Wood just holds position. He does not move at all. He is not checking his mirrors. Right now, it is Green, Wood, and Jacobson. We need to keep an eye on this battle, but we also need to keep an eye on what's happening with Jurg Monty. This is a problem right now for Jurg Monty, now 5.7 seconds, and these drivers, Green, are closing in on Monty at a rate of not. The question is Monty know he's got a gap enough to be able to save enough, and has he saved enough early enough, Randall?
And if he's still saving when Jason Green and company catch him, he's going to introduce quite a spanner into those gears. And it's going to be absolute mayhem as everybody tries to get around a car that's trying to save fuel and limp home. So Jurg Monty hopefully saves enough fuel to keep this spot and to keep out of the clutches of Green and company. We see him going down the straightaway now. That gap up to Pleva nearly 6 seconds.
And that gap from Green and Monty has closed by 1.5 seconds within 3 corners. Monty has got to get a move on it if he wants to take this Masters win. I'm sorry I keep talking about Monty, but this is huge right now. But this is also here between Jacobson, Wood, and Green. I don't know what's going to happen here. The best thing right now for Green is if Jacobson and Wood start battling, and they start battling very hard. It's a checkered flag, though. We are good. I think Monty's got it.
The white flag has been flying, and we see Aleix Pleva is going to take the victory. Manny going to have enough fuel, it looks like, just about to take it all the way to the line. It sounds he's out. He's coasting. He's coasting. He's going to cross the line in second place. Perfect fuel strategy from Jurg Monty. Crosses the line with not a drop to spare. Jason Green going to get third. Daniel Wood fourth. Jeff Jacobson fifth. And we'll see Flavio Andala, who was challenging for that lead early on, caught up in that early scrum, comes home fifth with a good recovery.
Yes, absolutely. I apologize. That was a white flag. Randall, I'm so sorry for getting that wrong. But Antonio Reese sitting in 10th right now. Massive championship implication on the line here with Paulo Brime, Adam Bradshaw, Joshua Wilkie, all going to be crossing the line here soon. Now we've got Philip Berry about to cross the line, waiting for all of these drivers to come across the line to see the results. We already know what the results are. The question is, what is the championship standings?
And Wilkie's going to be kicking himself. Finishes 13th place, was in a good position to challenge for the Spec 2 championship. Had that first lap incident in the chicane. Adam cursed him. Had to read the chat. Adam cursed Wilkie and causes him to not have a shot at the championship. Wilkie really is gonna be seeing that in his nightmares for a couple weeks.
Well, we're not blaming me, Randall. We have come to a decision in the commentators booth that we do not blame each other when the chat is the one that brings it up. But actually, the one in the chat that brought it up is the one that wanted him to not finish 8th or better. So it is definitely on you, my friend. But anyways, we are still waiting right now. Wayne Buttermore across the line. Looks like we have some results now. In first place is Aleix Pleva by 7 seconds at the line. Jurg Monty running out of gas at the end in second place with Jason Green finishing third. I think that will be enough for Jason's championship hopes here. We will find out very soon. Daniel Wood in fourth, Jeff Jacobson in fifth, Flavio Andalo in sixth, Kurt Nunez in seventh, Scott Russell coming home eighth, Tom Gradwell in ninth. Oh, this is when it gets tight. Antonio Rees comes home in 10th. Drop weeks, everything need to be calculated very quickly to see exactly who brought home that Masters Championship, with Paulo Brime sitting in 11th, Adam Bradshaw in 12th, Joshua Wilkie comes home 13th. That is not my fault. I will continue to say that. Philip Berry in 14th, Brad Cathcart in 15th, 16th with Darren Kuhn, 17th with Russell Telker, and Paul Jackson sitting in 18th position. Now, it sounds like we do have to they may be practicing a jump here, so if we can get a bit of that action, that'd be awesome. But Randall, I'll let you take us through the rest.
19th is going to be Wayne Buttermore, one lap down. 20th will be Jeff Fritcher, who ran out of fuel with 2 laps to go and decided to park it. Felipe Carvalho is going to come home in 21st. Jason Greider, who we saw with an issue, it finishes in 22nd. Hayden Bramley, who we saw leading early, is marked as a DQ on my screen, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Comes home 23rd. Jason Perry, who we also saw challenging for the lead early in the race, 24th. And Kristen Tracy gonna come home in 25th.
Unbelievable race, Randall. I cannot believe that we saw what we just saw. We cannot thank this league enough as we see Aleix Pleva doing some massive donuts. He had enough fuel. He's got even enough fuel to do some donuts here. Let's see who we have though in the interview waiting room. We're gonna have to do this right now. We've got to bring Jason Green in first. Jason Green, obviously an admin in this league. Jason, how are points tallied yet?
I don't know actually.
Okay, I'm gonna kick you out again, and we're gonna bring in the winner of the Masters class very quickly, Jurg Monty. Jurg, this is a very close championship battle. You came across the line and just barely made it. You had no fuel left.
No, 0.0. Nothing at all. I think on the third last corner it started to sputter, and I was praying, don't stutter now, don't stutter. And it stuttered, and I was like, oh shit.
You made it across the line, Jurg. That's all that matters. We're going to have to figure out if that was enough to beat Antonio Rees in the championship. Do you know off the top of your head if you got him or not?
No, not at all. Not at all.
We will have to figure that out as soon as we get it. But Jurg, great race. I know you were battling as hard as you could. You knew Antonio Rees was your fight this afternoon. You guys are great friends. Antonio had some issues. He obviously had a pit lane infringement that dropped him down, and I know you were talking to him. I'm sure that did not go over well with Antonio.
No, his fuel calculator missed some fuels again, I think, and did not even start the fueling, so that was causing the problem in his case.
Well, that is very unfortunate for Antonio, but it helped you out a little bit, Jurg. So congratulations on your P2. Is there anyone you want to shout out, thank, anything you want to say about the season you've had so far? Or we're at the end now.
I leave the season go. It's ending now. That's fine for me. No other race anymore, and good luck to CP for the next broadcaster, for being the boss of the boss.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Of course, you Adam for leaving the channel. What's Sarah? I don't think you leaving the QP. I think.
Yes, we're all thankful that he's leaving.
Oh, you're thanking me for leaving, Jurg? Is that what you're saying?
No.
I'm kidding. But no, thank you so much, Jurg, for the kind words. I am very, very glad to have such a great, obviously, crew around me with Zippy bringing it further than I was ever able to bring it. But with that being said, Jurg, congratulations on your P2. Hopefully, it's enough for your championship this afternoon.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, guys, thanks a lot.
See you later, Jurg. That was Jurg Monty there in second place overall, but winner of the Masters class. And there are things that we have to talk about afterwards with the championship. But Randall, who have you found?
It looks like I found Jeff Jacobson, who is embroiled in a top 5 battle most of this race. Jeff kind of came out of nowhere, but you were showing a lot of pace. Tell us what it was like out there.
That was intense and stressful. I felt like I was way in over my head.
It's one of those tracks that will make you feel in over your head often. Did you think you had any shots there for Jason Green at the end?
No.
So we saw you got passed by Daniel Wood in the closing stages, and then it looked like you were kind of holding station. Were you saving fuel at the end?
No, I was just trying to play it safe to not kill myself and kind of see if I could maybe make a last lap move on him. But ultimately, the biggest goal was not to kill myself and throw away at least the top 5, because that was one of my best finishes so far in the SRF.
So yeah, it was an absolutely great race and good finish out of you. Before we let you go celebrate your finish, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just everyone in the league. It's always so much fun racing with everyone here every weekend.
Well, congratulations on a great race, Jeff, and hopefully we'll be talking to you in a couple weeks when the next season kicks off.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
That was Jeff Jacobson, who we had a lot of time on camera today.
Yeah, it really was. And congrats to Jeff. I know Jeff has really come into his own at the end of this season. Obviously, in Formula V's, I believe, or it was Formula Fords, excuse me, at Zandvoort. Unbelievable drive by Jeff this afternoon. Really starting to get his elbows out. We're talking about Jeff more and more and more, and we need to keep thinking about that as we come into the next season. But I so rudely kicked this guy out of the chat a little earlier. Now we can have him back in here and we can actually talk to him. Jason, congrats on your P3, and my goodness, were you locked in a battle.
Oh my god, that race was chaotic. I'm still stunned that where I ended up after colossal skill issues at the beginning. Just had my hand on the downshift paddle as I hit the curb, and then it downshifted me to first, so just went completely straight. And yeah, just had to recover from there. But that was yeah.
I don't think you were the only one to have an issue on the start. I don't know how close you were to Jurg at the start, because there were people changing left and right positions all over the place, but Jurg dropped way down as well. I'm wondering if that was a bit of an issue for him, but you had a very great recovery run up into P3. And Jason, I know for a fact that I believe we might be able to congratulate you on your Spec 1 win for the SRFs.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that me finishing third was enough. I think I just had to finish in fourth. It should be super close, though. Alish did almost exactly what he needed to do. I think he got too many inks to get those bonus points, though, so I think he got 102 points for the win and leading the most laps. So, yeah, he drove a great race as well, so congrats to him. It was a really close battle.
So right now we're watching the replay, and you are right behind Alish. I know you wanted to keep Alish in your sights, but Alish decided to turn on the afterburners a little bit and use that extra fuel in the pit stop to be able to get out in front of you. How worried were you when you saw that Alish started gapping everybody? Was that a bit of a worry for you?
Oh, 100%. I think I was still out of the top 10 at that point. So like initially, it's like Hayden was dominating the race. So I was like, okay, it's fine. And then I glanced back at the standings, and Alish has a 2-second lead. I'm like, oh crap. Well, I need to finish in fourth now.
Yes,
I need to start chasing it. I was like 7 seconds or 8 seconds behind fourth place at that time. So yeah, just put my head down and pushed as hard as I could.
Well, Jason, you were able to make it happen. You took P3. You took the championship. I mean, obviously, unofficial standings, you took the championship. Is there anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out? Kind of recap this season here for Spec Racer Fords. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Man, just shout out to everybody that drove in this league. It's an incredible league, and it's a huge honor to win, win the championship in this league. It's been a goal of mine for maybe a year and a half. Not a realistic goal, I might say. I didn't think it was ever attainable, but I got lucky. There was no true dominant driver this season, so both Alish and I think got 2 wins, and that was the highest win total. So it was the kind of season that I kind of needed to actually win. So huge shout out to everybody in this league. They make this community amazing. Shout out to Stevie for organizing and leading us to glory. Shout out to y'all. Y'all do an amazing job on the broadcast. You got up to speed super quick. Yeah, and y'all make it that much more amazing. So thanks to y'all.
Well, Jason, I'm going to apologize to you for getting kicked out of the booth earlier, but we decided to bring you back in and have a little bit of a chat with you, Jason, and thank you so much for everything you do for the league, what you do for the racing line. I am getting pretty close to being able to call you a pretty good friend of mine, Jason, so thank you so much for everything that you do, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Sounds good, y'all.
That was Jason Green there, obviously P3 overall, but it sounds like unofficially the winner of the Spec 1 class. Obviously, things are still too close in S1 Masters and S2 at this moment, but we may be able to bring in the second place championship finisher, Joshua Wilkie. Maybe the first, Joshua, do you know yet?
Sorry, say again? I missed that. My bad.
Do we know if you're second or first in the championship after your 13th
I'm actually not sure. I don't think I made first. I'm hoping maybe I crept up to second there. Yeah, it was this afternoon. I wasn't actually planning on racing, and then I just ended up having the time. I went and looked at the points, and I'm like, oh man, if I don't race, I'm going to lose. So I jumped in. No practice. Had a bit of a skill issue there on the first lap. Got, I think it was Christian Tracy in front of me, made about 7 moves on the straightaway, blocked me. I got a bit of red mist and lost it. But then fought my way back to 13th, so yeah, I'm really happy to finish where I did.
Yeah, well, you did a great job finishing where you did. That was unbelievable, clawing back up through the field. And we had someone in the chat that I believe was in first place in the championship saying that you had to finish 8th or better and you would have locked it out. And I'm telling you right now, Joshua, he is the one that commentator cursed you. It wasn't me. But anyways, Randall, I'm going to let you have a few questions here for Joshua. I know he had a crazy race and I have to go take care of something real quick. So it's up to you, Randall.
Right on. Thanks, Adam.
Well, for somebody that didn't have much practice, you did have a lot of pace. So as you said, a couple of issues out there early. How happy are you going to be to see Oulton Park in your rearview mirror after that race?
Yeah, definitely. I've kind of traditionally actually really liked this track. It's got a lot of character. It's undulating and kind of old school sports car track that they would just never make anymore. But I've never been on it on the SRF, and I just decided to jump in this morning and just give her a shot. And I kind of learned as I was going there in the car, and I ended up finding some pace. I definitely need to apologize to the groundskeepers around here a bit. I did a little bit of mowing the grass. But yeah, I'm actually pretty stoked to find to end up where I was. I had no idea if I locked out 8th that I would have won, or I may have done a little more practice this week. But huge congratulations to, I believe it was Andrew Love. I think he probably locked it out. Good for him, man. That's amazing. He's been there all season. I've seen him in front of me, behind me, all over the place, but he's always been there. So good for him.
So tell us about next season. Are you excited for it? And do you think you have a chance to go for that Spec 2 championship?
Yeah, that's the goal for sure. I mean, my first season in this, I don't know if you guys watched it all, but I DNF'd, I think 9 out of 12 races or something, 8 out of 12 races, trying to learn this car and learn these guys. And this is one of my favorite cars in the service now. And these guys and girls have been so welcoming and so nice, and the broadcasts have been so good that it's just an awesome league to be a part of. I'm really glad to be moving forward, and the goal definitely is to take the S2 victory next season for sure.
Well, Joshua,
great finish, and Adam, shut up. You gave him to me, so it's my turn.
don't tell me.
So, Josh, great finish of the season. Way to really learn the car and the league, and have a good run here in your second season. And hopefully, we'll see you fighting for that championship there at the end of next season, and see you on top of the podium then.
Sounds good, man. Yep. Let's just throw out a couple thanks, obviously, to you guys, to everybody else here, racing to make such an amazing league, and Stevie and everything as well, putting this together. Got to be one of the best iRacing leagues out there. I just got married on Friday, so huge shout out to my brand new wife, Claudine Wilkie. We're super happy. She's always very supportive of my motorsports. We watch F1 together. She's the best chick in the world. So huge shout out to her and the family and everything. We had an amazing time, and thank you so much for being so welcoming and everything, guys. This has been great.
How is it weird yet for you that you're now calling your wife and she has your last name? Because it was very weird for me when that happened 2 years ago.
Yeah, it is. It's a little strange at first, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're so happy about it. We had such an amazing time, but yeah, it's definitely a little strange. She looks at you, her last name's Wilkie now, and the clans have merged, so it's a good feeling, man. I'm on an up right now, big time. I'm still a little hungover, if I'm totally honest, from Friday. I don't even know how I just did this, but I cranked it out, so I'm really happy, guys. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm telling you what, Joshua, the alcohol hangover will go away, but the hangover from you getting married, it's going to take a long time. It still hasn't gone away from me yet. But congratulations, Joshua, on your P13, and thank you so much for everything you do for the Weekend Warriors. And from what it sounds like, you might be helping out SMB just a little bit more in the future. So thank you, Joshua, for everything you've done.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really hoping to get in there with you guys, do some producing and even some commentating hopefully here in the next little bit. And I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll be seeing you guys soon. Thank you very much.
That was Joshua Wilkie there in P13. But before we go, guys, this was my last official broadcast, let's say, for the Weekend Warriors. And I just want to shout out everybody in this league and everything that everybody's done for slow motion broadcasting for the Weekend Warriors. I was hoping to grab Stevie, but I think Stevie's a little bit busy. They're probably crunching numbers, crunching points. Things got pretty tight there at the top. Make sure to tune in on Tuesday night to the Racing Line to see exactly how those points shaked out. But I think it's time to pass the torch over to Daniel Zippy Salmon for the Weekend Warriors. Daniel, you are going to become the new front runner here on the slow motion broadcasting side for Zippy, or for Zippy.
Damn right.
Weekend Warriors. Thank you so much, Daniel, for taking this over. And you know what? After watching it this season, my first season on these guys, I hope we have them for a lot longer. And please don't mess this up, Zippy.
Well, all I can give you is my best effort there, Adam, and that's all I can give everybody, right? But the intention is good. Don't get me wrong, I'm human. I make mistakes, and anybody who's met me knows I'm a little bit of an eccentric person at times. I say motivated is definitely the best way of phrasing that, but you know what? I really like the Weekend Warriors, and it's something, I competed with it in the sim. I love the Spec Ford. 1600 is a lot of fun as well. Even the V is a lot of fun. I find these groups of cars encourage close racing, and then not only that, you've got that really close community as well. So it's generally like a complete win for me in every aspect, because I've gone from racing to, then doing, from racing, doing officials, to doing leagues, doing endurance racing, and then end up in commentary now and a little bit more in producing, and now, helping, manage SMB. It's a huge undertaking, and it just goes to show as well, that sometimes when you get into like a hobby, it can become a lot more than that. And it's definitely been an interesting adventure over the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next.
Well, I'm looking forward to it going at least 4 or 5 more years, and I'm looking forward to slow motion broadcasting getting way bigger than that, and that is going to be with the help of the Weekend Warriors. But for my last official time, Randall, you've become a great friend through what we've done here, through slow motion broadcasting, through your league in AMS. I still have your sticker. Now I'm getting emotional. I still have your sticker on the back of my truck. Randall, thank you so much for everything you've done for me and my wife, my family, helping me move up to Nevada, flying all the way down to Phoenix from Indiana to come. Yeah, he helped me do all kinds of stuff. So Randall, thank you so much for everything you've done for me and my wife, and obviously the company and all of the things that make you not only a good person but a great friend.
You big baby. I love you, dude.
Yeah. But anyways, I think for the final time here from the Weekend Warriors, for me,
Oh,
we're going to
muffin.
sign it off. My name has been Adam Thompson. The Rabbit Ranger is Randall McGrew on the commentary booth with me. Zippy in the production booth. You're going to see him a lot more.
Sorry about that.
A lot sooner than you think, guys. So, for now, actually, we do have to bring up some upcoming streams.
Oh, yeah.
Let me compose myself, and then we'll get some upcoming streams going here. But yeah, tonight you're going to get to see me in the VW Beetle Light at the Charlotte Rally Cross Series League Racing. Gonna be unbelievable. I'm gonna be racing. I'm probably gonna be drinking a little bit. I already have, by the way, but that's okay. And then in Sim Car on Thursday for their final race. Gonna be an unbelievable week to cap out my time here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next season for the Weekend Warriors. We do have some V runoffs, it sounds like, for you next weekend. I won't be there. I'm going to be at work. But again, thank you so much for everybody in the league, everybody at SMB. You guys have done a great job and continue it. We will see you next time.
Oh, do you need a tissue there?
I see a Budweiser. Go ahead and hold it up.
Yes.
That was the biggest clue.
Yes, right
Doing
there.
it for Dale.
Man, it's so many gimmicks, right? I feel like they're making it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, a lot of people, you get polarizing opinions on DRS.
I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here, but sometimes the effort, it's all about the boys. You know, like, hey, you know, life sucks sometimes, and you need the boys.
iRacing kind of always has a tendency to kind of buff
Yes.
the new cars just a little bit. I'm not going to go on record saying it's because they want people to spend money on their platform and buy all the new
Conspiracy
content.
confirmed.
But
Yes.
but
The field in Castro's hands, and he's going immediately. Gets a good jump there over green, and is pulling away. He is gapping early, even moving over to try to break up any sort of slipstream or help that inside line, making sure green has his hands full coming into T1.
Be your chance. Did Jason give Antonio just a little bit of a slow up? It doesn't look like it. Antonio down to the inside. Hopefully going to be able to make this move. Oh, that was close.
Soto both coming very hot with a head of steam. Plava going up to try to move out of the way and give up the slipstream.
Here comes Gilliland.
Slow down. Gilliland coming in, going to try to challenge for this podium. They're going to go too wide.
Oh, no!
Oh, no! Gilliland and Plava come together. Gilliland's going to come back across the line in fourth place.
Quite going to get there. There's a little bit of a lock up there
Oh,
from the
my
46
goodness.
car. He's gone deep.
Whoa. I don't know how everybody was able to get through that. That could have been absolute tears for that front runner.